Hi there, I'm Janet Gershon-Siegel, and I'm the Lonely Writer. This is serious social media help for the independent writer, which is a person who does not yet have an agent. I am a master's degree candidate at Quinnipiac University, and this is my capstone project. Today I'm going to be looking at beta readers and editors. Now, you might be wondering what the difference is and whether it matters who you work with, and I'm here to tell you that not only does it matter, but you really should work with both. Now, beta readers, to start, are people who will read over your work and evaluate it before it goes to a publisher. They might read for typos, spelling errors, grammatical issues, and that sort of thing, but that's really not a very good way to work with them. So really don't give them just this unedited mess. You need to edit your work. You need to try to fix your grammatical and typographical problems. Run it through the spell check. Please, for the love of God, do that. Because instead of having them trip over every single typo, what you want is for them to read more for continuity and sense. You want them to be looking at flow. You want them to be looking at things like, if your character is 5'5" in the first chapter and is suddenly 6'7" in the 10th chapter, there has to be a reason for this, such as they had a growth spurt. I mean, if you are explaining it on the page, then it's reasonable. If not, then there might be a continuity issue that has to be fixed, and they need to tell you about this. Now, how do you get a beta reader? Well, the best way to do that is to be a beta reader. So swap with someone else who's got a work of similar length and complexity. If you've got a really long work and they've got a bunch of shorter works, that could be a fair trade. Beta readers should be fans of the genre that they're reading, or at least not hate it. For example, I'm not a fan of horror, so if you give me horror to read, I'm not going to be happy. If you give me science fiction to read, I'll be a lot happier. It will also help if the beta reader is a member of the demographic group or one of the groups that you're attempting to reach and eventually sell to. Because if you can reach that person, then the thinking goes that you could potentially reach other people within that demographic group. Please don't use family members. What you want is someone who will be willing to give you criticism, but without tearing you down. And a good beta-to-beta relationship can go on for years, that you keep helping each other. Once you get a good one, hold on to them, please. Editors are a different story. They are generally people who you hire. They are a person who checks yes for continuity, but they're reading more in the sense of what an audience might be thinking. They are going to be doing perhaps some copy editing, but again, that's not the best use of them, because that's what a proofreader does. Instead, like I said, they're people who are reading for an audience. The best way to get an editor is do some research, talk to people who've been published, ask them who they've worked with. Your editor doesn't have to live in the same country as you. They just need to be a native speaker of whatever language your work is in, and give them a sample chapter to work on, see what they say. Do you like their suggestions? Do you get along? Are they reasonable? Are they slow? Because this is a commercial relationship, you should have a contract with your editor. A sample copy editing contract is at copyediting.com. It's a pretty good one. Be sure to change it so that the venue is for the state where you live, because otherwise you don't want to be traveling off to Mississippi if you live in Oregon, but that's where your editor is. I would also say you need to put in a time frame for this. For less expensive editing services, of course, you get what you pay for. But if you're really stuck for funds, go to a local college. You should be talking to not the students. You should be talking to the professors. Find who's a better student, because somebody might sell a bill of goods to you and turn out to be a lousy student. So you want somebody who is looking for freelance work. It could even be someone who's a recent graduate. If you cannot pay them at all, at least give them a recommendation as a part of your payment, either on LinkedIn or Yelp or wherever they like. Certainly you want to talk this person up so that they get other work. Why do you want to work with both? The short answer is that you need both skills in order to make your work stand out, but it's also because you want to put your best foot forward when you query. Finally, I'm the Lonely Writer, and that's because an independent writer never has to be alone. So I thank you so much for listening.